So that completes the set today. Spurs beat Arsenal. Everton bounced back from that embarrassment at Arsenal last week, beating Palace 3-1. Stoke and West Brom all tied up at 1 apiece. These goals on the way, incidentally. Swansea beat Burnley by 1-0. West Ham, Watford by 2-0. And as we've just seen, Manchester City beat Leicester 5-1. 4 from Aguero. Still with 4 matches to come in this round. Baggies, Huddersfield, Stoke, the bottom 3. Newcastle down today. And Southampton. Swansea have 15th. No other changes ahead of them. The movement top half. Everton have gone in front of Bournemouth, who have yet to play this weekend, falling. Chelsea, Liverpool, Spurs into 3rd, and Manchester City, as you can see, extend the lead again. Sunday, Huddersfield play Bournemouth. It's Newcastle against Manchester United and Southampton, Liverpool. All those games live on beIN Sports with us here for our English language service on 11, Arabic if you prefer on 2. Monday night, 2200 Mecca, it's Chelsea against West Brom. So, thoughts in just a moment on another very impressive afternoon out for Manchester City. What a strike that was from Sergio Aguero. Remember that goal on a Monday night, Andy, from Gilboa?
I do remember at Elland Road, yeah. Into the same sort of end, that left end. I mean, today we just saw, I think, everything you need to know about this little guy. His ability, he's a goal poacher, he'll get goals, nick him in from 2 yards, 3 yards. But he can also do that. You know, he can head it in. I mean, I just find it amazing that there was talk that at some time in Guardiola's reign here, he was prepared to let him go, which I find, I said at the time, we used to talk to you about it, why? He must be one of the best in the world at what he does.
I think Shearer did that once as well, didn't he, playing for Blackburn, crashed one in off the bar that rebounded up into the net like that. They always look spectacular. It was 5-1. Thoughts, reaction, goals on the way. An evening dominated by that little guy there. 4 for Manchester City again this afternoon, the first player to do that 3 times in the Premier League. (5-1) then, Manchester City. Tomorrow, on the back of the Premier League football, the club, goals from Europe's top 5 leagues woven around Valencia Levante. Andy Kerr, host, Michael Gray, guest. That's tomorrow. The club. Well, it was all going very well for Leicester up until half-time, wasn't it? We don't know, but was it an enforced change, or do you think that a thoughtful change from Claude Puel and did them second half?
Well, I mean, I'd like to actually listen to his explanation, really, the coach, because you know you won 1 at half time against Manchester City away, and then you go from a 3 at the back to a flat back 4. Listen, whatever he'd have done, he'd have probably got undone by Sergio Aguero today anyway. But there must have been a reason for that. He either saw something within his team and felt he had to change things. But you know, I just think with Aguero, he suits Manchester City so well, and the reason for that I think is that he's not a player that relies on just pace or just being strong or good in the air, his back to goal. He's a striker that's proactive in everything he does. He anticipates things, and the way that they play there, he knows that ball will get put into those areas. And 2 crosses throughout this game from Kevin De Bruyne, where he just pulls onto the back of people, makes those runs. I mean, that was Sterling that time, but right through the game, he's reacting early, before defenders react, as soon as Man City players get the ball.
I saw an article today in one of the British newspapers suggesting that Harry Kane was the best centre-forward in the world. Is he better than Aguero?
Goal for Leicester, scored by number 9,
for me, no. I think Aguero's natural, I think. Harry is a bit, worked at his game, tremendously hard, dedicated, unbelievably dedicated, work rate. But Aguero's a natural player. Aguero can link up play. Andy described him as goals he scores, but he can also link up play as well. And you never know whether he's going to set somebody up or turn himself. And he takes up these positions in the box where
defenders find it very, very difficult to mark.
I slightly disagree with Liam there. I think that Harry gives the team more. I think Sergio Aguero is a pure finisher, anticipating things in the penalty area. I think Harry possibly outside the area. For the team as a whole, you wonder how many goals Harry Kane would get in I mean, he's getting enough playing with Tottenham, but in a Manchester City team, you know. But that's again difference of opinion.
But he does get all types of goals.
Yeah, he does. I mean, when the ball comes into the penalty area, he's there. When he collects outside the box here, what he does here, he gets himself on side, he's got himself on the half turn. What I love about it, in and around the penalty area, you never actually see him, very rarely with his back to goal. He's always on that half turn, looking just to spin away into the area and finish it off.
And this was a horrendous mistake by Schmeichel, but he doesn't half finish it really well, you know. Schmeichel doesn't go to ground.
No, he doesn't.
He stands up, and he didn't half lift it up over him. Terrible error, but that's the last person you want to give the ball to like that.
Can you make plans to negate what he does, Mark, or not?
With Aguero?
Yeah.
I don't know if you do, because I think his game revolves around if the rest of the team are playing well. And to me, although he's got 4 goals today, he's even more dangerous, as we talked about at half-time, with David Silva in the team. Because David Silva pulls people, defenders, onto him, onto David Silva, and gives Aguero maybe that yard of space different anyway. I mean, this strike, I mean, the way it gets up and down, it's actually over Casper. It doesn't go through Casper, it goes over his hands.
Amazing. Do you know what's funny, you two debating about Aguero and Harry Kane? If Pep Guardiola was given one, he would probably take Kane for the reasons that you said, Mark. Because he's worked there. That's why he likes Jesus. That's why, at the beginning of the season it was almost, well, Aguero's not going to play as much as Jesus is, because he closes down people better in the way that Guardiola likes. But for me, I just think, if you've got him on your side, that's what you get. I mean, I don't know what happened in 2012-13, he had a terrible season, but apart from that, every other season he's rattling in goals galore. And I just think everything about him is good. Everything in his mind's about scoring a goal. I know that, maybe people want more when he doesn't have it, but if you've got 10 other players in your team who are doing what they're doing, he doesn't need to chase 50 yards back the pitch looking at somebody.
You just want them to play between the
Just play between the penalty area, innit? That's where you want them to play.
Because they dominate possession so much around that 25-yard arc, if you like, he's just the best I've ever seen. It just in the penalty area itself is pulling into little pockets, little pockets of space. Sometimes not even looking at where the possession is, because he knows it's coming into areas. He's looking at opposition defenders, waiting for them to half turn their head to follow the ball, and he's gone. And there's that space awareness in those tight areas that he's just the best ever at, in my opinion.
Raheem Sterling got the first, and here he is. Same applies. Manchester City go to Wigan, where our mate Peter Reid and Paul Cook are waiting for them.
Yeah.
Day started with Tottenham beating Arsenal, a very disappointing Arsenal, it has to be said. 1-0 doesn't really reflect what happened here.
I was just saying, Liam, you've had a few hours to think about this game now. Have you changed your mind at all about how Arsenal played or went about it?
No, so disappointing, Andy. Kind of annoying, not only disappointing, it kind of made my blood boil that the work rate just wasn't there in a big match at Wembley. And as we pointed out, this was Arsenal's only real chance. And Lacazette, who's totally void of confidence.
What a ball!
I didn't expect him to go to score, but a good ball from Iwobi. One of the few balls that was passed forward. I think Lamela was causing a bit of a problem on the pitch, but Tottenham fully deserved to win. Should have won 3 or 4. And once again, Ozil didn't show up today. And the 2 new players that were so good last week, Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan, were very poor.
So, comfortable then for Tottenham. In the end, here's their manager. How far away are they from being the real deal?
Tottenham today, I thought, were very impressive. The Arsenal situation, I remember over the years that when you were... Listen, I've been involved in teams, mostly mid-table Premier League teams, and the one thing you'd always go back to games after the weekend and you'd look at the stats, and always found the top teams in that forward areas, or throughout the team really, they would have more sprints than us, more high intensity runs than us, because top players do those things. And yet, like Liam said, Arsenal today, no high intensity, no sprints really of any significance, apart from the chance they got at the end when Iwobi played the ball through. And then you compare that to Tottenham's output, right through the side, week in, week out. They're one of the hardest working teams in the league. They continually go right through the 90 minutes, pressurising teams, playing the same way, and with a real dynamic sort of style that they play that Arsenal certainly didn't have today, and seems to win out their play week in, week out.
But do you feel their best chance of winning the title has gone?
Good question. I think, yes, only in as much as Man City seem to have had that blip, if you like, and I think now you're looking at the way they are, the money that they've spending, I think for the foreseeable future, they're going to be the team really that everybody's going to be chasing. And now how close can we get to the rest of the league? Well, at the moment we're miles away.
Richard, just to go back to Arsenal, that's 14 games on the road this season, 7 defeats. 7 defeats.
Yeah.
And that tells you, I think, that there's a lack of character in there, there's a lack of fight in amongst that squad. And they've taken 13 points from a possible 42.
It's not good.
That's
mid-table. In fact, it's probably not even. That's a bit mid-table.
Well, they've won 10 at home, Andy,
Yeah.
but they're showing up at home, and away from home, they just don't show up.
Well, maybe it's because the recruitment hasn't been good enough at the back, Liam. You know,
Well, it's not only the back; it's every.
Yeah,
it's
it's every.
you,
But what I'm saying, if
you've
you're
got to
spending-
work for the
but if you're
team in
spending
any
100
position.
million on Mkhitaryan, Lacazette, and Aubameyang, are you not spending it in the wrong areas?
Well, it probably needs to be spent in those areas because Sanchez is leaving or has left. But definitely, the defence has to be addressed, or should have been addressed up to now.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see. I think there's some interesting developments to come in North London in general come the end of the season. Oh, Pochettino said the other day when asked about Real Madrid, football will take me where football wants to lead me.
Would you say to keep this, watch this space, but it wouldn't surprise you if in August the 11th, when the season kicks off, that both North London giants have different coaches?
Well, I'm glad you asked me, because I was going to ask Liam and thought that was a little bit unfair, but I can stick my neck out and say that wouldn't surprise me at all.
If both Spurs and Arsenal have new head coaches.
Yes.
The other thing about Spurs is they haven't won, and I'm not having a go. They played really well today, but how are they going to be able to keep all these players on the wages they're paying them, Richard?
Well, they're not.
How can they keep Harry Kane when he's earning what?
£100,000.
100,000.
He's the first at the club to earn a six-figure salary.
It's just impossible, isn't it?
And
I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't know how long he's got a contract
for.
for.
As long as Harry wants it to last, wasn't it? As we were talking, Mark was saying, the players have the power. Harry Kane will be at Tottenham as long as he wants to be.
Well, he'll be at Tottenham as long as Pochettino is, in my view, and if Pochettino isn't,
well, it's August.
then
How much of a millstone is the development of the stadium going to be to them in terms of recruiting?
Well, it was huge for Arsenal.
Yeah, that's why I said.
Arsenal.
Mark, I don't think that Daniel Levy is scared to sell, and I think if he can pull in for Dele Alli and Harry Kane the best part of 300 million, plus something for Pochettino, that's, I would have thought, the lion's share of the debt cleared on the stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's going back to what you said earlier on. Does it look like then the best chance of winning the league has gone?
So you take perhaps a Gareth Bale, a returning Gareth Bale, who knows? I mean, it's purely speculation on my part, but he wouldn't be scared to sell Kane, would he?
No, but if you've got Gareth Bale to come back, surely you would have to pay him the money that you should be paying Harry Kane.
Yeah. I think the big problem for me with the players is if Pochettino goes, they all seem to like Pochettino. They seem to
they're
get bought
playing
into
for
it,
him.
what
They're playing
he wants
for him,
them to
yeah,
do. There's a big question mark would be if Pochettino goes and someone else comes in. We've seen it. Managers come in, they don't get on with the players. They suddenly don't. They're not doing what they've been doing for 3 or 4 years under Pochettino, and they're not sure. That would be the big test for Tottenham with me, is if not so much if Harry goes, because big players leave clubs and they're replaced and people move on and teams develop again. We've seen it all 25 years of the Premier League with Manchester United, and even Arsenal's have reproduced players and brought others in. And I think that would be the test for me, not if losing Kane, but the test would be losing the coach, and then how many others would then depart Tottenham because the coach isn't there and they don't like or they don't get on with the new coach.
Well, if If Real Madrid come in for Pochettino, does that automatically mean he goes?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
well, no. The reason I'm saying it, Annie, is because he's still a young coach, and this word that I hate, this project, the new stadium, whatever. Maybe he thinks, well, I can still get the Real Madrid job in years to come.
But do you not also think that these opportunities might only come along once in his lifetime? The opportunity for him to manage Real Madrid is now, when he's young, when he's got that ambition and he's got that.
Doesn't it?
But he also knows that you can get appointed manager of Real Madrid, and it can only last. It could last just 1 year, and if you finish second to Barcelona, you might be changed.
Could you turn down? Could a coach who's managed?
No, I agree. I agree with Mark. Perhaps there's something here close. Like, he's making his reputation, or he's really made his reputation at Spurs, hasn't he? And there's a new stadium coming along. The players are playing for him. The fans are really with him.
I think.
Wenger had a chance down through the years of leaving Arsenal to go to the likes of Barcelona and Real Madrid. He never did, and I think he didn't jump because he knew that he could go to a club where you could be there 1 year and you could be out the door the next.
But I think they're different personalities. This is a South American. This is a guy who's worked in city of Barcelona with
Espanyol.
Yeah, played there.
Worked there. Knows it's there. And it's a bit like, how many players do we sit here and say, if Real Madrid come for Harry Kane in the summer and the money's on the table and they say yes, Harry's going to say no to? It's a really difficult thing to say no to. I mean, you're talking about one of the most iconic football clubs in football, if not the most iconic.
It only gets harder for him if he stays. You know the effect a new stadium has upon the buying and the selling policy. Look what happened at Arsenal. All of a sudden, for a decade, became a selling club. So I think Daniel Levy would look at it realistically and say, okay, there's, like I said, 350 million for three of our.
Well, he's done well. He's done well, Daniel Levy, hasn't he? He has sold and managed to replace those players, and the recruitment.
He's never been scared to do it.
The recruitment at Spurs has been very, very good. They've bought lads who have operated like Alderweireld at Southampton, who's turned out to be a great signing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dele Alli, he's fetched out of Milton Keynes done.
Produced a few of their own, and Winks and Kane and people like that. They've done all right.
They were lucky enough to take. Well, the judgment was good when they took Bale. I mean, there was I think, Andy, it was nip and tuck between Bale and Walcott down at Southampton, and Spurs.
I think that if Arsenal had only realised who was the real star then.
Yeah, who was running the academy at that time?
Some Irish lad, wasn't it? Oh, that was you, wasn't it?
That was a senior signing. That was a senior signing. We had tipped the senior scouting department off.
Did you? Okay.
There was a Gareth Bale down there as well.
Here's Sergio Aguero.